Supposedly first on the list down there.
Some of the most feared words on the planet. There's a new version of the software out. I just heard him say there's a new version of the software out. That's like terrifying.
That usually means you're working the next 2 days for free. Just to get back to where you were 2 days ago.
Isn't that the way it goes?
And now in the virtual environments,
Yeah.
oh, just reboot the machine.
Oh, cycle power. Turn it off and turn it on. That's the fix, right?
Well, in a virtual machine, you're shutting down like 50 machines,
That's true.
and I've seen it happen.
Stop it first and start it again.
Maybe the green light will start.
Welcome to the September 22nd, 2002 Planning Board meeting. The chairman is at another town tonight. He'll be here eventually, so I'll be chairing the meeting. We're missing 2 members that I can appoint alternates for. I can't replace the selectman, but Paul, you want to fill in for Craig, and
Yep, that's
Jack, you want to fill in for Frank?
Yep.
First, the agenda is a continued site plan review for all-purpose storage, Weare LLC. They got a letter from the fire marshal requesting some more information. So they've requested a continuance until October 13th. We have to make someone has to make a motion and to
Move we
continue that.
continue to October 13th for all-purpose storage ware. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None? Okay. That's continued till October 13th. We got a continued subdivision for Sean D. and Carol A. Hickey. We tried to do a site walk a couple of weeks ago. No, I'm sorry, wrong one. They've been sent a letter from the code enforcement officer that they're dealing with. They had an application before the ZBA that has been withdrawn because it was kind of putting the cart before the horse by asking for the variance when they didn't know exactly what was being impacted for the wetlands buffer yet. So, did we ever accept that application, Naomi?
I don't remember.
I don't think we did. I don't believe we did.
Yes.
I don't think you did,
No.
because I think, he needed to go to the variance first, and you only have so many days.
Okay. So if we haven't accepted the application, then we really don't need to do anything.
He's here.
Well, we'll schedule another site walk, but I mean, as far as,
Good, use Reservoir Drive.
yeah,
You're
I'm
on-
sorry, wrong one. Yeah.
Wrong one again.
I'm on.
Are you here for that, Jack? Jacques or the other one?
The next two, yeah.
Yeah.
If you want, I can get up and talk about Hickey a little bit,
Okay.
if you want me to.
Please.
Sure. Okay,
Please.
I had a sidewalk on a sidewalk at Hickey's.
Yeah,
And it was a little more devastating than I think I was prepared for. And, but we are underway, we have an erosion control plan, that's been presented to the town. I think from there, that probably, Tony, our engineer, Anthony Costello, suggested to Tony that he talk directly with, AOT about following up with that. I don't know if you guys want a copy of the plan for your file, or? Paper? You do have
Yeah.
a digital.
yeah, if you got a paper copy.
Yeah, I brought a paper copy for you. It is underway. So
Okay.
that is going, but we can't do anything until the place gets stabilized, cleaned up, and our permits get in place.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was a little more, like I said, a little more impact than we had anticipated, so. I guess the whole application's kind of on hold, and if it hasn't been accepted, I didn't come to the first meeting, Dan Higginson filled in for me, I
Yeah,
was somewhere else.
I recall it being short because you weren't here, Dan didn't have a great deal of the information.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm not sure we accepted it. If we didn't accept the application, then
You did.
I think, at this point, since we have no idea when,
yeah,
we probably ought to, you probably ought to,
So what we did in ZBA is we withdrew without prejudice, and then all we could do was notify the butters.
yeah, but since it was never accepted, he didn't, I don't think he has to withdraw it.
Well, no, for ZBA's.
No, I'm just saying what we did with ZBA.
Yeah, yeah. But I think,
Because you may have some of others here.
that's the point I'm getting to. I mean, I think, so we'll probably have to notify abutters again once we figure out where everything is at.
You know, we haven't got any problem with doing that, renoticing,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
So if there's any abutters here for that, you'll get another notice in the mail once we start taking action on this again.
Okay.
Because they got some bridges to get over first before we start,
Yeah, it's more
get
just,
back here.
My own information.
Yeah.
Have any big objections or anything, just.
So it just let you know, so you don't have to keep coming to meetings. We'll send you a new notice.
All right, that's helpful. Yeah, 'cause I had 2 notices that I came to the last meeting and then I got, you know, like you said, it was cart before the horse kind of thing.
Yeah. So I don't think we need any motions for that, just that's what's going on.
Right?
So, because when he's ready, he'll come back and.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
jump back into it with
Yeah.
notices and whatnot.
Okay. Next on the agenda, continued subdivision for Thomas L. Corrado, that one's on Sugar Hill South. We had a site walk, there's some miscommunication somewhere, and not everybody appeared that needed to be there, so we need to schedule another site walk.
You can say me. Yeah, I talked to Tom that day too and said, oh, it's next week, so.
He didn't show up either.
So I talking to Craig about a week ago, he thought we're gonna have to reschedule another site walk.
Right,
And, we probably wouldn't talk too much about anything tonight.
yeah, till we
Did you
take a
see the
walk out
conditions
there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I apologize, I had the wrong week. So if you wanna come up with a date?
Yeah, when's our, we got a meeting October 13th, obviously.
You just moved one to October 13th.
Right, that's what I mean, we have a meeting.
Session.
Right. Do we want to do the site walk on the 12th? When's,
Don't ask me, because I don't know.
That'd be a good idea. I can do that one.
can you? Okay. At like 5?
Yep, that's fine.
October 12th.
Yep.
So,
Josh, need a big sticky note?
Yeah, I'm gonna write it right now.
I have a question about plans for that project.
Sure.
Have the driveways been identified?
No, but we'll lay them out. I talked to Tom, the owner, last week. I gotta come out, stake the lot lines and, a couple of driveway locations. There's 2 new ones. So we'll tend to that before the sidewalk.
Okay.
I know, Barbara McCann's here and she had some issues about the one across from her house. And I've already
Right.
talked to Tom. We can stuff that one further north, so it's not directly across her. from
And
her
have you
house.
gone to Benji about it for
No.
him, for
Oh,
the
Roger?
driveways? Yeah,
Okay.
make sure you,
Wait a second, October 12th.
12th, 5.
Okay.
file a
5,
punch
It's
list.
a Wednesday.
yeah. All right.
We
and
have-
Benji about driveways.
Yep.
We have more members that can appear on a Wednesday than a Thursday for a site walk.
Thanks.
There was also some concern about the, date of the 2 lots that were busted out of that lot, because 2 lots out of the front were taken out. One was in 73 and one was in 74. The one to the south was 74. Because I think that had to do with scheduling for, when cisterns became
Right.
required.
That was if there was in the mid-70s there, that was prior to zoning, which was in, what, 88, 89? So
Okay, so we're out of that.
you're
that
before
question.
zoning, so that those lots don't count towards part of the,
Okay, the count, okay.
yeah. I want to make a motion for rescheduling site walk for the 12th.
I'll make a motion that we reschedule the site walk for Corrado subdivision on October 12th at what, 5 PM?
Second?
That's what I got.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, now we need to continue this hearing.
Make a motion, we continue this hearing till October 13th.
Well, your traditional meeting would be the 27th.
Okay, we'll do it then the 27th. Well, I figured we're doing it when
If he's gonna do any type of plan.
he's coming in on the
Yeah,
13th
he
anyway.
he might have to make some modifications after the
At
sidewalk
the
meeting on the
sidewalk,
12th.
okay.
We won't have time to do it.
We don't have to-
Yeah, we're not.
Okay, so we'll make it for the, what'd you say, the 22nd?
7th.
27th. Make a motion that we continue the hearing till October 27th at 7 PM.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
All
Okay,
right, well, thank you, and again, I apologize for missing that sidewalk.
okay. Those were easy.
Yeah.
We've got a conceptual hearing, but I was gonna, yeah, you got the dates there? Because we're not gonna be sending out any more notices.
Nope, you got it.
Yeah, okay,
We'll
good,
let the other people in the neighborhood know.
okay.
Thank you, Scott.
See you later.
If you bear with us for a minute.
Sure.
Julian, I wanna talk about that other Romeo's issue.
Well, you can talk about, he was on the agenda.
Oh, okay, well, I was kinda waiting for Craig to get here, but Craig ain't gonna make it.
We'll be out of here.
We're getting fast.
Only 10 minutes.
Yeah, I know.
Minutes. We'll be out of here before he gets here.
Yeah, no,
I like this board meeting.
stop.
Okay, we won't make it anyway, he won't make it anyway. So, I guess Killian is the tenant at the intersection of Quaker Street and
Yep,
77 there where the donut guy was, coffee guy.
yeah.
So, and he's got some new ideas on what he wants to do there.
Yeah, and so basically I just want to do like trailer storage, not so much campers. I think there'll probably be like 2 or 3, but I'd rather do like equipment trailers, boat trailers, something like that, and just for the winter span. Nothing during the summer because I like it mowed and nice and everything out there. So just something over the winter for people to park their storage. And I have the form I think I filled out right, and I do have a kid drawing of the plans because I'm not very good at drawing, but
Nah, we don't need the drawing tonight.
okay.
We can just, I'd rather just talk about it. You're gonna need to come for a site plan.
A site plan?
Yeah, because there's an approved site plan there.
Okay.
So
I don't know any of this, so
Yeah.
this is all like,
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have to be anything, I mean, you could do it, it doesn't need to be anything, you don't have to hire anybody to do.
okay,
It's,
okay. So you're gonna come back for a site plan?
yeah,
Okay.
with trailer storage, I think you gotta think about, one, there's the septic system out there somewhere.
Yeah, I know where the septic system is, and it's not, I'm gonna be far away from it, I don't wanna, I'm not putting like a whole bunch out there, I wanna do at the max 15
Yeah.
trailers out there. And there is a second, so like there's the driveway that cuts from Quaker to North Stark, then there's a second entrance that I guess is a driveway
In the back,
in the back.
right,
So I was gonna take all that gravel that they have where the coffee truck was parked there, I was gonna take that and lay that out towards the field, so that's like an entrance there. And so anybody that would come in the fall and drop off a trailer and then
but
that'll
it's like,
go out.
in the fall, out in the spring, they're not
Yeah.
working out of there.
No,
They're
no,
not-
no, 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 it's gonna be a strictly,
The
it's
only,
here for this amount of time and,
the only thing is that's an approved driveway, because when, that was way back when they were gonna do the farmer's market, we
Yep.
did the sidewalk. That's approved for that, but it's only approved as an exit, not an entrance. So you can't drive in off of Quaker Street there. It's only approved to drive out.
well, yeah, but on one
has to
fourteen,
be-
on 114, there's a second driveway that's there.
Yeah, that's up to the state. You,
So I gotta go to the
that
state.
one that's in that open byway towards the town, the property line, is what you're talking about?
Yeah, the one that's closer towards like the mobile.
Yeah, that one there is, you'd have to go to the state for that,
You talking about the existing one or the one that's?
There's one
There's
that's-
already one that's there.
There's an open barway that we
He's
looked
talking
at.
about the existing one.
What, the one that's,
It's open right past the fence line. So like if you're heading from here and you're heading towards
Yeah.
the police
it's
department,
towards the fence, it's along the stone wall, along, north of the paved one, way up the back
Yeah.
corner of the field?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one we looked at when we went up for the site walk.
Right.
And that one, you'd have to go to the state for.
Yeah,
Get a permit to come out on the state road.
That's why I think you gotta come for a site plan, because, I mean,
Yeah,
his
well, that's where.
his impact is pretty low compared to what
compared to what was
we
there, but.
approved there already.
But, you know, and the other part of it is if you put, when you put the driveway in, because of the driveway regulations, you have to put a paved apron in there. So many feet in off
We'll make that
114.
happen.
Okay, so just,
That
those
doesn't-
are the requirements, and you can, you know,
Yeah,
get a
it's-
copy of that.
It's usually about 13 feet long, it's to the
Yeah,
lot,
the
to the
opening
lot
there's
line.
15 feet and there's.
No, no, from the
Edge of the
existing
road, I think
pavement
it's what,
to the lot line,
Huh?
it's usually about 13 feet or so.
yeah,
Yeah.
13
Eight.
feet.
8 feet.
They
8
don't
feet.
pay for
Oh, You have to have an 8-foot paved apron off the road.
Okay, yeah, well, I was gonna, if I can do all that.
Oh, oh,
Yeah,
Sorry, try not to burp.
so if you could kind of sketch,
Yeah,
I think what you want to do is make a little plan, show where you want to park the, whatever it is,
yeah, like you keep.
show how you're going to access it,
Yep.
because, and that's why I think you should come for a, maybe make it an amended site plan or something,
Well, you have to, you already have approved one.
because there's an approved one there, so you want to change it, so you want to do an amended site plan, so that's how you're going to want to label it.
Right.
Amended site plan.
All that's, is that all on the town website for him to reference?
Probably not.
No.
You can get the,
Because when you go from
Well,
one to
state, you
another.
don't use the other one, you have to go to State Highway and get a,
couldn't he get the copies of?
Yeah, okay,
I-
that's,
Approved
that's,
plan?
I'd,
You know what I mean?
I wouldn't use that, I'd stay right
Record.
off the state highway and just use
yeah.
Quaker
They may not
Street.
give it to you anyway, because you already get an access
I wasn't doing.
entrance.
Because if you come right in and out off Quaker Street there for that little impact you're gonna
Right,
have.
right.
Or come in,
See the girls.
it'd just be easier to go that way, which I can, it's no,
yeah, you come in, the other, the run that's in front of the building, coming around and come out
Yeah.
that way, it's like,
that's fine, you know, like I said, it would be 15 vehicles technically twice a year,
Yeah,
in
yeah,
and out, and,
so just kinda show, you know, you're gonna just like back up against the lot line or something in the back, up against the tree line, or,
yeah, that's pretty much all of it, and just kinda go right around, but I don't wanna go right up on the property line, cause I don't want, you know,
Right.
the neighbors to look out the window and see boat motors and empty trailers, you know, keep it 10, 15 feet away and just do a little L.
so, yeah, kinda sketch that out and put as many dimensions on there, you know,
Yeah, I measured it out today.
and if you put some numbers on there, you don't have to, that thing doesn't have to be to scale, but if you have the numbers on there, like you're 10 feet from lot line, right, 10 feet from lot line or something on there,
Okay.
you know what I mean, just so that we get some idea of what,
Yeah, I measured out how much I would do and stuff, so 130 feet wide, 135 feet wide and 115 feet, because I don't want to go right up against 114, I want it just right in that field.
yeah, yeah. And kinda sketch out where the septic system is, so you know to stay away from it, or whatever.
Oh, yeah, yeah, I actually have it all sketched out right here, septic system's right here, kind of in the corner by the store,
Yeah,
and this is the parking area, there's that fence, that second driveway
Yeah.
right there, which is 15 feet wide, so, I mean, there's a couple birch trees that are hanging down anyways, that I'm gonna end up tripping up anyways to, so you can get trailers and stuff don't get damaged pulling in. Oh, yeah.
So, when you're finished with that, I just wanted to get your attention, cause I have a question.
so if you can get the stuff done, I mean, it sounds like you're almost there with, fill out the
Yeah.
application, get it to Naomi, and we'll probably get, you know, can we make it, we can make the end of the month, right, for 27th?
Yeah, you just made one, you.
Yeah, but I mean, he can get in time for a butter notification.
Yes.
Yeah, you do, October 6th is your deadline.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's fine, I'll do it tomorrow, or Monday. So just the amended site plan, and go from there?
Yeah, and, you know, put your name, address, a little north arrow, you know, as much information as you can on there.
Okay. Is that it?
Is there any dedicated office space that's gonna be for that, in the building for
Yeah, well, I have like my bedroom office desk thing, that's where it would be, I'm not gonna,
Yeah, no, I wasn't sure if there was gonna be like a separate office, like the store
No,
was supposed to be
no.
separate, okay, then that's,
no, it's just,
then I don't need to ask any other
oh,
questions.
perfect. We good?
Anybody else have any comments, questions? Okay, that's it.
Good?
Thanks.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ann.
See ya. Have fun. Yeah, you too.
More than people should be allowed.
So here's the plan and stuff that he left me.
Okay.
There's the property to the water,
Yep,
that's the property.
so it's only
And then he's got an.
30 feet to the water.
For the public water, so all that stays there together.
Yep.
I'm not gonna answer it. I don't answer it anyway, so.
The, Coburn Village over there, Lake Shore Village Resort. I got a call from Romeo the other day that they're, taking one of those existing cabins and making significant modifications to it. Adding a second floor, making the deck bigger. Looks like they're putting, the one that's there now, looks like it's on
Stilts.
piers, or is that a no, maybe there's a foundation over
What
there.
number is
Maybe-
it? Number 3?
So, he asked me what I thought, and I said, well, I think that's a decision we ought to discuss as a board, whether he needs to come in for some kind of
It's also a sticky,
modified site plan, or what, because he's,
also a sticky note on this, and it says, has septic been installed, so.
more like a full-fledged house than a cabin, what they plan on doing to it. And I mentioned to Romeo, well, because he said they were making the deck bigger, increasing the impervious area, the first thing I mentioned was, well, it would seem to me that he definitely needs a shoreline permit.
Just try not to use the names,
Yeah.
because we'll have a notification issue.
Yeah, I get it.
Let's get a pump station.
But the question is, does the board think he needs to come back for some kind of minor site plan modification for this? I don't know. Was that pre-zoning to Naomi? Was there ever a site plan for that place?
I gotta tell you, I don't know, because it used to be timeshare,
I know.
and when I was in high school, we used to go there.
Yeah, I know.
was-
So that's been a day or
Yeah,
two.
it was Colburn's Cottages way back, Lakeshore Village, whatever it is. Well, that location had been cabins forever, that I can remember back into the middle 70s, and then it got sold to a timeshare, and they had timeshare things up there, and then it was,
And then that, no timeshares anymore.
no, that went
No,
away.
none anymore.
No.
So it looks like they're, I mean, if I'm, you got a full foundation sketch here and everything, it looks like they're completely doing away with the structure of the stair, including the foundation. And making it bigger and taller, and a bigger deck.
So do they have any other, you said shoreline permit, is there any in their application that they've done any of that already?
No, they
Or
have-
are they
they have not.
expanding the septic for that particular building? Because they're increasing.
I was just looking at the bedrooms on that to see if they,
Record.
the number of bedrooms, septic systems are designed strictly on bedroom count. Which is kinda what I was looking for here, to see.
I'm looking at this, I have a piece of paper, and there's all types of stuff when it was, stuff sent in, and I think
What's the
it was
bedroom count on the tax card there?
2.
Two.
through the state. Is this one from the state, Naomi? Naomi?
What?
Was this one from the state?
That
That's what,
came off, they printed it off the website, I think, today.
yeah, okay.
That's for a public water system.
Yeah, it says this was water subservice, and it looks like they've been in for their construction stuff since back in 2019.
I mean, it looks like the new plan here has
On some of this.
3 bedrooms, because there's 2 in
Yeah.
the basement,
And one upstairs.
and 1 on the 3rd floor. The second floor is
General living.
living area, kitchen, dining room, living room. So it looks like they're making it 3 bedrooms when it was 2.
Yeah, so they need a septic design for that.
So they gotta do something with the,
I would go with your inkling to recommend a clear site plan for this project, because this is gonna set a precedence for everybody on the
Oh,
lake.
yes.
yeah,
And I think we need that, because there've been things that we've already talked about on the other side of the lake that weren't done appropriately, or claimed to be not done appropriately. And,
and
And
there's
then also
there's more
our-
cabins in here.
right, and our land use department needs to know the proper procedure for that, this type of dwelling.
Well, how much is it changing?
Well, it changes the bedroom count, which is gonna impact the septic system.
And that indicates new bedrooms on the plan? Or are we just looking at it and
No,
saying
he's
that's
got
gonna be?
2
No, that
bedrooms on the
says
tax
two,
card.
but that says 3 bedrooms?
That's for the new plan, yeah.
Bedroom 3.
The other question I have is, how much of this building is staying?
I don't think anything.
So it's a brand-new
So it's-
building,
it's a
so they're demoing,
demolition and a re-
That's what it appears to be.
right.
Well, is that
It's
a
not
sub-
like the other,
Well, then you'd have to look to see if
It's
they
not
get
like
a
they're just
demo
remodeling
permit.
it.
right, it's not like that house on, Craig Road, that's a skyscraper now, because they added a second floor and a little bit.
Yep.
And how close is it to the water?
You can spit out the porch and you can hit the water.
Then
But
if
is
it's
that
within
more
250
that or
feet,
more
it
building
requires
code?
a shoreline permit.
Yeah.
Is that more of
Yep.
a site plan or more of a building code issue?
Site plan. We're not dealing with building code, we're dealing with
I
site
know,
plan.
but that seems to be changing, so it'd seem more of a building code.
It's a building code issue also. It's a building, it's not an issue because they are going through the right hurdles, applying
Yeah.
for the permit and everything, but it is a building
And if
code
they demo,
function.
yeah.
And because of the extent of the work, they've turned it into a site plan function also. And a shoreline function,
Now, is the shoreline more,
that's a state.
I know, but is that more dependent on the size
No.
of the structure, or?
Within 250
If it's within
feet.
250 feet of the shoreline,
Yes, but are they, I have a property up on Lake Wentworth, but are they getting closer to the shoreline, or are they
Doesn't matter.
remaining further back?
if they have more roof coverage, more impervious area,
Okay,
if they increase the impervious area, it kicks a shoreline permit.
Yeah, if it's within 250 feet of the,
If they
It's a
dig
change
out
So
in
the
a
deck
hole,
qualifies
you
for
have to
that?
have a shore.
Yes.
is the deck
Yeah.
covered?
It doesn't matter, the deck is impervious.
yeah, the shoreline or the high water mark as they
Yeah.
put it.
They consider
Depending
decks,
where it is.
driveways impervious.
Yep.
Geez, I wish they'd tell me about my deck and all the water that flows through it, down to my storage underneath.
So Bruce, on the website it gives a history. In '83 is when it became
Okay.
year-round,
That's-
1983.
Yeah.
And then, in 2012, the business model got shifted from timeshare to what it is now
Mhm.
for individual cottage ownerships. I'll stop reading, you can all read. There's 19 buildings.
And I'm kinda guessing with the amount of the work they did into this and everything, they're gonna kinda keep doing this to the other cottages in there too. So if that's the case, they might wanna address this as a whole instead of individually.
Well, some of the ones that are not on the water, I think
No, I
have
mean-
already been converted.
Could they address them as a whole, or do they have to do them individually where some of
It's
them?
on
are
one lot.
Well, some of them are individually owned building,
But it's one big.
one big
It's
complex.
one lot.
One big complex.
Yeah.
If you
So-
look at the tax map, it was the big piece with
Yep.
just little squares.
If they were, it would be a lot less aggravation if they addressed it as a whole.
Do it as one.
Yeah. Might take a little bit more upfront, but then it's done. And they don't wanna go for 19 different shoreline permits either, they wanna do it once.
Well, they're not all in the water, some of
Yeah.
them are bad.
Yeah.
No, at least the ones that are on the water line within the.
And if they're incrementally adding on to, I don't think they have individual septic systems in there, I think they have a couple of them scattered around, not just one for every site, so.
That one paper I gave you
don't know
back
that.
has a mention of a pump station, so.
Yeah.
They must be pumping it from spot to spot
So-
uphill.
Following up on the comment that other cabins have already been converted or renovated, however you wanna, whatever language, do we know that septic systems have come?
I don't know to what extent they were renovated,
Okay.
I don't know if they were
I guess
just,
a tangential question.
I don't know if they were, what was like tuned up, or if they
Yep.
did like they're doing this one, I don't know.
The septic system may be a big community one like you'd have in a commercial.
Right.
Hotel or someplace like that, so, because they're talking, and like I said, the thing's talking about having pump stations located there, so that means they're pumping it from there to.
Yeah,
another
especially
location.
this one, that's one of the lower ones, because it's right down by the water.
Yeah, so they're pumping it uphill to
Yeah.
it.
So is the number of bedrooms affected then, or no?
Oh, yeah,
Okay. Because it's communal.
yeah, I mean, and you have to go, there's a site loading calculation you have to do, I mean, there's a whole bunch of things you have to do when it comes to
It may
septic.
meet it, but it's,
So what do we need to do?
We need to tell them they need to come here.
So make a motion that they need to come before us with a
I don't
site.
think you need to. I think Romeo can direct him in your direction.
Yeah,
Okay.
Romeo was asking our
It really
advice
was-
on,
it's other
Okay,
than-
I rescind the motion.
yeah.
yeah.
It's a building code issue, and they come to us.
Okay?
That's that. Now, I printed out some stuff. Denegene has been working on putting something together for some grant money for, hopefully to apply towards our master plan update.
Yeah, there are 3 grants available, 3 different levels of
I printed
money.
out multiple copies here.
There's one for 25K, there's one for 50K, and one for 100K. I'm starting with the 25K because it aligns with the board's previous efforts to get the money to get the master plan, part of the master plan updated. The whole purpose of these grants is because of the state direction on affordable housing. So, and I emailed everybody with what I have to date, so, basically, it's described where, what are our challenges and goals, you can all read. One of the things that, I have not worked on is the scope of work and budget. I'm assuming that scope of work and budget was done when, that information exists somewhere, when you brought it before the town. What was that $20,000 gonna do? What was it for? In this grant, it's to hire a consultant, either from the approved list of people that the people running the grant process have put together, without a bid process. This is part of the grant parameters. We could ask Southern New Hampshire Planning Commission to do the needs analysis, should we be given the grant, or we can go out to bid.
Well,
So,
Craig's comment, with the emails, I mean, Southern New Hampshire, historically speaking, will, they say, they call it assistance, but it's,
yeah, this, what we
It's
would
not
do is
like-
we would pay them. This money would
No,
pay them
we
to
do
do
that
that. So
anyway.
we could choose to use this money to pay Southern New Hampshire Planning Commission to
Right.
do it, or someone off the list of approved people to do the project, or we could put it out to bid. We decide how we wanna spend the money.
yeah,
So I'm assuming there's a scope of work and budget that's, that could be used to be cannibalized to plug into this.
No.
I think you guys did the work.
no.
No. Okay, so then we'll have to talk about what that $20,000 you were gonna use for, cause we're gonna have $20,000 to use to upgrade the master plan. Plus, the
Well-
grant, the grant parameters say you have to use a certain amount of money for community engagement.
Mhm.
That's really key, as we've seen with the money not being voted. So, under community engagement, so did you have a plan for that?
No, what we were attempting to
We
do,
gotta talk about that too.
what we were attempting to do was to just get started on updating master plan. We're gonna take one or two sections that needed work, and we're going to put it out to bid on what it would take to redo those sections.
I think the 20,000 at the time when we went to push it was just a start, that was just a drop in the bucket.
Exactly.
This
So, I mean-
grant is specifically for your housing needs. So what I put in there was that our goal is to update the housing sections of the master plan that are relevant. Now, we need to look at those and see what do we wanna include, so I can put it in with the grant proposal,
I think,
the grant application, also with links to those sections so that they can see it, cause it's an online application. The grant is specifically to update your master plan related to your housing inventory and affordability.
Right.
personally, I'd like to say, 20 grand when we talked about it the past few years, it hasn't been just last year, but it's been gone around and around, was just a drop in the bucket.
Yeah,
So I think if we're gonna do this that way, I think going to the next step, going to 50, because when you go to
that's for
put,
different grants.
well, it's still gonna fall into the
That's
same
gonna
thing
go
for
to,
your master
that's gonna
plan.
go to zoning or,
That's part of what we're looking at for the master plan, which you have to upgrade for your housing and everything else, you're gonna have to upgrade some of your zoning and,
understood, but I was
so,
told that we weren't ready to write $100,000 or $50,000 grant.
No,
So I
and-
started
I'm
with
not talking-
a
well,
$50,000 grant.
why,
And this is where the grant starts,
why-
the master plan.
why I'm saying this too is
And
because.
Jack, I think you're misunderstanding. See, this grant this is a three-phase, this whole thing they set up is like a three-tier
Right, I understand
process.
that.
You start with the master plan.
So you start with the master
go
plan,
on,
and then and I think
go on.
the person that does that, the needs analysis and planning grants, I think whoever does that for us, once we get to that point, can take care of also applying for the grants for the next tiers. I think it's all supposed to be like a stepping stone type of process. Am I wrong?
These grants are going to be, the larger grants are going to be, I believe,
Expire in a year, or less than a year.
let me take a look.
Well, doesn't that fit into what you just said earlier, Bruce, about taking portions of our master plan to say, we're gonna address these things this year, these things the next year? The grants could be ongoing written,
But
but if you're gonna go through the housing part, this is the means to do that, to
Right.
identify that part.
And they're trying to get you to, what they're trying to get towns to do by doing this is to adjust their zoning and everything else to allow for affordable housing.
Yeah, it's for workforce housing.
So they're giving you the money up front, that first 25,000 to make some adjustments to your master plan, so then you can make some adjustments to your zoning in the next step.
Right, and the timing is key, because I believe with these grants, the $25,000 grants, those are going to be awarded through January 2023 or until the money's gone. The other ones, I think, come up faster.
The others will go, the others are saying June 30th of 2023 or November of 20. I mean, the thing is too, is every town in the state is putting in
course
for
they are.
this, so, why I was getting
Well, there are
at-
some towns that are
Well,
saying,
it's necessary in
there are
every
some
town.
towns that are saying, we don't want anything to do with the
Well,
workforce housing, so we're not gonna apply for anything.
But, like, Bedford
That's
went
a
through that with what they're
consideration, too.
doing, the affordable housing, and they're putting those, like, Section 8 houses down there behind the high school, which I worked on, and those are gonna convert, and what happens is they take the grant money for it, and Bedford grabbed it because it's a tax thing for them, from the feds, and it's also,
I think what grant money did they take for what?
they took to build those houses, the
Okay,
feds,
so we're taking grant
money
money
to audit it, so why I'm looking.
look at our needs.
But what I'm looking at is the next one down, when we go to bid this out, whether it goes with New Hampshire,
First of all, we don't bid it out, we don't have to bid it out.
Well-
We can choose someone, or we can
I
Take
think,
Southern New Hampshire planning.
well, I
or
mean,
we
we
could
have a,
put it
we have
in
a,
the
we have a
bid
thing in
box.
town that was, the town regulations say we're supposed to bid it out over a certain
This
price.
grant says,
But is
The
it the
grant
town or
doesn't
the
require-
Or how much are they gonna take it for the
So-
companies? That's what I'm looking. How much are they gonna take to do the work? And these companies could say, oh yeah, we're gonna take 15 grand and we're gonna end up with 5.
you have, there's a 7.5% set aside for administrative costs. There's already
I-
$2,500 dedicated to.
How come we can't determine this ourselves as a town?
Dedicated to
The initial part, we can,
community
We
engagement.
can,
when you say determine,
but they have a list
So
of
already
approved,
between $2,500 and whatever 7.5% is, that's what's left.
they have an approved list of people to
Yep.
turn around and do this work.
Yep.
What is their price to do it?
I have an
You-
email out for that question.
So it could be, we're gonna get 25,000,
It could be less.
and it could be, they could be taking 15,000.
they know what the numbers are.
Yeah.
They know everybody's basing off that same number, so.
We could decide that instead of $2,500 for community engagement, we want more. We could say, we're not gonna have 7.5% administrative fees, because we're not paying anyone to write the grant. And we could put that money to that, so that already lowers however much money the person who's gonna do the work can get.
So this is all based on the premise that we need to hire someone to come in here
gotta
and
have
look at
some
our town to tell us if we need
That's right.
affordable housing.
Or that, how we can
Why
amend.
can't we, or why
amend
can't
our-
the town make
well,
that decision in and
You're
of
still gonna have
itself?
to have somebody
Because
do
we
it.
don't have the expertise to do that.
How do you not have the expertise?
Also, the
don't.
town won't
We
vote
don't.
the funds, the town won't
I
vote the
don't.
funds to update the
What's
master
the
plan.
expertise needed?
You know what that looks like on TV?
Yeah, I'm sure.
But I'm saying, what's the expertise needed?
Saying, it just,
Yeah.
someone that's trying to understand what we're talking about, and this looks like we're.
Well, I'm trying to understand what we're talking about, to be honest with you.
We are.
That-
Go ahead, Denny,
Go
let's,
one at a time and be polite, it would be easier.
Yeah.
go ahead, Denny.
The planning board attempted to get $20,000 from the townspeople to update the master plan, and they couldn't get it.
Maybe the
The
townspeople,
master
the
plan
townspeople want it updated? Does it have to, is it statute that it has to be
Mandated,
updated?
yes.
Let's
Let's
not
finish the
interfere.
thought.
All right.
So apparently, the board needed $20,000 to update parts of the master plan, they felt that was important. The town wouldn't vote for it. Here, because there's a state guidance to communities to begin looking at their affordable housing problem, this is $25,000 to engage the community on why it's important to update the master plan, because ours is 17 years old and it's supposed to be updated every
10.
10 years.
So
And also-
supposed to be, or is that by
and also-
statute or law?
And also provide the funds to do what you wanted to do that the town wouldn't provide, the town's taxpayers wouldn't provide. That's what this grant is for.
Okay, well, if the taxpayers don't want it,
The taxpayer, it isn't,
but my question is, how many houses are being built on Duck Pond Village and being built on Mountain Road? Is there an affordable housing problem?
yes, there is. Those aren't affordable.
To who?
The average,
To the people that work in town,
I'd say the average median
to
income.
town employees, to DPW employees, they're not affordable.
So I'm a little confused.
The road agent lives on Mountain Road, doesn't he? Or no, Perkins Pond?
It's not something he bought in the last 10 years.
No. Well,
So my question would be, is there a downside?
yes, I would assume there would be.
Well,
Like he said, in Bedford, they built Section 8 housing
We're not.
somewhere.
The thing is, we're not looking to do that. That's an example of what they did. What this has been, and this has been going on, because I worked on it back in 2021, 2022. It came out what they call, workforce housing. And then everybody thought it was you were gonna bring in, all these immigrants and everything to move into almost like turning these towns into slums. That was the big hue and cry originally. That was not it. It's to make houses, it restricts that when you build these houses, that they can't be, Taj Mahals sold at an exorbitant price. They have to stay in this area. You get to modify zoning and your lot sizes and so forth to put these houses like tract houses in there for people who are the blue collar, average worker, the firemen, policemen, construction workers, road agents, the average guy that works at Walmart or you know.
In your doctor's office, in your
Yeah,
emergency.
yeah, the
dispatch.
people
fine.
who are the average
But as-
workers.
as a
that
property
are less
owner-
than $150,000 a year income that they can afford to live here. Not to have them go in and buy a $500,000 home that they can't afford to pay for.
Well, I mean, that
And
could be
and
addressed in.
it's at the point that they can't even afford to rent here now.
In no place. This state, the average rent right now, statewide is about $2,200 a month.
For what, a house or a
For a
two-bedroom
That's a
apartment?
two-bedroom apartment. One bedroom's about $1,800. So you can't, they can't afford that. That's not counting utilities or anything else.
School teachers can't afford it.
Yep.
Town
Plenty-
workers can't
Plenty of
afford
school
it.
teachers live up on Holly Hill.
Yeah.
A whole lot of them have boarded
But
me
they
on
bought
Holly
those
Hill.
before they were
Yeah,
skyrocketing.
well, I bought my house in 1994, and when I bought it in 1994, or 2004, I said, holy SH, that's a lot of money.
But they're buying, the house is an example, Cortland
So
Estates
this is,
was cheap.
this is the state's way to nicely get the towns thinking the right direction. If it doesn't work, believe me, they're gonna be going other directions. They're gonna take other avenues.
Well, what are the other avenues?
We don't know yet.
There is legislation saying communities have to have a plan. It's pretty vague.
Well,
We've read it.
I mean, they
So-
tried to pass legislation, 2 years ago, to try to push it a lot harder than they did. They were gonna push that you.
Oh, yeah,
actually
it was.
mandated that you had to set parts aside, and it didn't pass, but it came close.
well, maybe that's an indication of where people are. Pass the legislation. If people don't want it, they don't want it.
But, when you look at the houses, like I said, Cortland Estates, the average house
What is
up there
Cortland
at the time was
Estates?
right off of 114.
Is that the old apple orchard that got turned into?
Those average
Oh,
were
okay.
going in the 270,000, now they're selling them for $500,000
You can't fix stupid.
within a couple of
You're
years.
gonna pay $500,000 for that on a quarter acre, you're
I'll
crazy.
give you an example. There's a local fire department
Mm-hmm.
that you used to have to live within 35 minutes for recall. If there's a general recall, they needed you in there, you could only live 35 minutes away.
Mm-hmm.
It's getting so difficult for them to find people who can afford to live within 35 minutes away. Now it's 75 miles.
Yeah.
Now think about an incident where you have your firefighters living 75 miles away and you need all hands on deck and they gotta come in. That's the kind of thing that housing is affecting. It's going to start affecting, now, we don't have a full-time fire department, maybe in the
Well,
future we would.
We
But
do,
it's gonna
we have
start-
We have EMTs
full-time employees,
Jeez.
that serve as
Yeah.
firefighters.
EMT
We do not
firefighters.
have a fully staffed to NFPA
Correct.
regulation guidelines.
But they're working
right?
on it,
But
so-
most towns don't and cities don't.
And most of
anyway.
these, some of these people, and a lot of the people we get down there don't live in town.
But my point is
Our police chief lived in
that
Maine for a while,
it's
didn't
starting
he?
to affect cities trying to hire people in such a dire way that they're willing to say, we don't care, 75 miles away, we don't care how long it takes you to get here, and we have a critical incident. This is what we're looking at, and this is what, I believe this legislation is trying to do, is to make it easier for people who actually work in a community in public service, or work in another community, but still doing public service, can afford to live somewhere. And this grant that I've been working on gives money to do what the planning board couldn't get the townsfolk to vote the money for, because.
So they're trying to circumvent the will of the townspeople by doing it.
No, I
Trying to
think-
backdoor it and say, we can put it up to a vote,
No.
town people didn't
Can you
want it,
calm down,
or
please?
not.
I
Well,
actually,
that's my question.
It's not a question.
Well, that's
That's
my,
a
that's my
statement.
statement.
I have a thought about that statement. I actually think people are looking more and more at their tax bills and saying, I don't wanna pay for anything.
Oh.
It's not that I don't want it done, I just don't wanna have to pay for it. So, now, they don't have to pay for it.
They'll have to
So-
pay for it.
so-
We'll have to pay for it in taxes, in schools, more kids in the schools. What's our tax bill for schools now? 20,000 per student in the town?
I think we're getting a little far down the
No,
road.
because
all
no,
this
no,
does-
it's
Paul,
all, it's all
Paul,
attached.
Paul.
There is no difference.
Let's be respectful here, please.
All this does is give the planning board the money to do what the planning board wanted to do, which is update a poorly outdated master plan. Now, the community engagement part is where we can tell folks, here's why the master plan exists, here's why it's important, and if you can have a part in updating that, so if you don't want certain things in town, you come and make your voice heard. and you
Okay,
come
yeah,
and
that's
incorporate
perfectly
it into
reasonable.
The master plan.
Yeah, that makes
This
sense.
particular section is to update that section. And to do the community engagement about why it's important. And to get people involved. Because if you look around the boards, a lot of people are doing the same thing. Are on the same boards, different boards, same people. This gives us money to do things to get people's attention. Number of ways to do that. Every door direct mail, meetings, presentations. This is what this is for. Now, once we spend the money to get the community involved, and we wanna update more of the master plan, we can present that to the town. People now have an understanding, why is this important?
Right.
Hang on.
Do we know what it cost us in 2005 to do the initial master plan?
Not without one big bill, I don't know. That was a lot of community involvement.
Yeah, I know, I was part of that at John Stark. and-
Another question, Naomi, you can answer. Now, if we apply for this grant, we get it, does it have to go before the town to be accepted? At a town meeting or at a,
You gotta be able to have your money, your match.
There is no match. There's no match. I buried the lead there. This requires no matching funds from the town.
but it's still, if we accept money, I didn't know it had to go before the town at the town meeting, or a selectman can do it, just a,
Grants all the time.
right, so it doesn't have to go before that's what I mean, it doesn't have to go before the town meeting, okay.
It's an earmarked grant, has to go towards that,
That's
nothing
it.
else. Yeah.
That's what I wanted to make sure, that we didn't get caught in the switches with that.
And if the master.
So do you need something from us to,
Well, I thought there might have been a scope of work and deliverables, like.
yeah, no, sorry.
Budget, I guess we need to put our heads together and just look at the budget, cause it's in the sheet that I emailed to folks, what the line items are. And community engagement, you know, I can write something, you guys can look at it. Outcomes and deliverables. Basically, the outcome for this grant would be to update the housing section of the master plan.
Right.
The deliverable is, it's got updated.
A new section for the master plan.
But also, a secondary part of the deliverable, in my opinion, is doing a community engagement to start working toward a revamping of the entire master plan.
Yeah, but that can't be a deliverable part of this grant, I don't believe, because it has nothing to do with this grant purpose. You follow what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
But
But we can still do community engagement on what's happening with this grant
Yeah.
you
and
can,
the master plan.
Yeah.
based upon this template that's here, there's community engagement 1 and
Yeah.
community engagement additional, optional, which could piggyback on, maybe not be the overemphasis, but the emphasis on the housing, but then there could be a secondary engagement to deal with the need of updating the whole master.
Yeah, but I don't wanna put, if he puts something like that in this grant, they'll deny it.
Yes, but here's the thing. They told us in more than one webinar that if our grant application is deficient, they will help us fix it.
Okay, so when you just get flat out denied, they'll help you tune it up.
Correct. I would like to say I could send it all in blank, I can't.
Mhm.
You know, it would be ridiculous to say we could send it in blank and they would help us know. But if we, you know, we have we'll have considerable stuff to present and they can help us if it's deficient.
Okay.
The only thing with a grant, the selectmen have to sign,
Right.
because you have no authority to.
No, exactly, right.
If you would like, I will continue on the last two sections and have it ready, give me a deadline.
Okay.
Who would be the contact person, because there's a section there that says.
Well, yeah, that's left blank because I wanted input from those things. If you looked at it, there are things in
Yeah, I
brackets.
see that, but I was asking Naomi, is who it would be, it'd have to be somebody here at the town, it wouldn't be someone on the board. Because it has to go probably before the town administrative, it's gotta be signed off on by the selectmen to accept the grant.
You tell me.
That's why I was asking Naomi, as to, who would they put in for that, the chairman, or just say the board of selectmen?
They could.
Or just put blank the
I mean,
board, so,
the police has done some details down in Clough Park, and we've authorized him to sign a grant, because that's who's
Yep.
gonna be basically monitoring it.
So there are things in brackets on the things that I emailed to you. Those things in brackets are basically insert whatever needs to be here, or there's a question there for the board.
Craig trying to email me, text me.
Yeah, he said he was all done in Goffstown.
So, do we have any type of reference for you to, for her to work off of, or from other communities, or from archives, or from?
well, it might, that's where you might contact Southern New Hampshire Planning. Because they've done, I mean, we've contracted or worked with them for who knows how long. In fact, we had, Tom Clow at one time sat as a representative from here, so,
Still does.
yeah, as far as, well, I don't know.
Oh, is he done?
Yeah,
I do.
oh, so she does, so I mean, I think that may be a place to at least start somewhat,
Well, I swapped emails and forwarded you everything I got from her.
okay. I didn't know if there was more.
Yeah, and they were looking to see if they could do webinars, just have people understand, because there's a lot of communities that don't have time. Danny Gaines put a lot of time in it. There's people that don't have those kind of people that do that. So they reached out to the whole communities, as you can saw when I forwarded to you guys, all the people that were listed, to see if they could assist us in the application or whatever we needed. That's why I
I think if you get the outline of the application done, like, you know, maybe just a few more blanks from what you've got done there, and it's probably ready to, I don't think, it doesn't need to be ready to submit, to pass, to run by them, to see if they, see what they think of it,
No,
does it?
essentially, once I plug in what I have in my head and everybody looks at it, it is ready, unless there
Yeah.
are changes to be made.
But you can probably run it by Southern New Hampshire at that point.
Well,
If-
I could run it by them, or I could submit it and they'll help us.
Okay.
That's true
From
too.
Invest New Hampshire.
Sounds like Craig.
Basically, they said, we will help you because we want to give this money out.
You don't go to Goffstown in your shorts, you do hair?
Because he's not home.
There's no curtain in front of the table.
So, continue?
Yes.
Please.
Continue?
And thank you.
Will do. I
Please and
actually-
thank you.
I actually can, there's no reason for me not to have it done end of the weekend. And I'll email it around Monday.
Okay.
I'm gonna email it to, the board, planning board first, to everyone, to Naomi to disseminate.
You can move to everybody in CCNA, one email.
Yeah, thanks for doing that.
That's all I got.
Okay.
If I have, in the places where I have specific questions, I will tag you and you.
Next, we've got minutes from September 7th. Attempted site walk.
I guess I didn't miss much.
You didn't miss much the next day either.
You missed the ice cream.
I vote we accept them as written.
All in
Second.
favor?
For the love of all
Aye.
that's
Second by Paul.
Cindy,
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
so what did you do?
Opposed? September 7th minutes are in the books.
Who made the motion?
Now you understand why I sit back here. Who seconded it?
Paul.
Oh. Okay, okay. We talked about items informing him about the sidewalk, and then I told him the ice cream was closed, and then I lost you guys.
Talk about important things.
Yeah.
Okay?
think, we're at the other business part.
I thought that was other business.
No, I have one thing for other business. Basically get the permission of the board to attend the NHMA convention in November in Manchester.
What, you
I've
want
been going, they do all types of.
You want us to pay for it?
Yeah. They have to pay for it. Seminars that they do for the towns and stuff. I've been going for every year, so.
I don't know if we have any money in the budget.
According to the town administrator, there is.
Not necessarily yours, but the bottom line.
Yeah.
Very small one. Nope. So is there an answer to his question?
Yeah, that's what I was
What was the
wondering,
question?
Craig, was, how much is it?
I'm not sure what it is. I can't-
$165 for 2 days,
For 2 days.
Per person?
Yep.
per person.
Anybody else wanna go?
When is this?
It's in November, like
16th and 17th.
16th and 17th November.
During the day, from like 9 to 5. It's in Manchester Center.
Let me look at my schedule.
Wednesday and, what's it, Wednesday and Thursday?
16, 17 November, all day. Depends on, well, let's see,
think it's
October,
maybe
November,
19.
football will be over by then, maybe.
November 17th, I think, it's called, but yeah. It's usually, the Thursday usually falls on a meeting night, so.
What's NHMA stand for?
New Hampshire Municipal Association.
Okay.
So what's this one about?
They have different seminars, they have them on zoning
Oh, okay.
and all that type of stuff.
They do streaming as well. for some.
Streaming, some of it's, updates on different laws, could be for zoning, planning, you know, highway stuff, or roads.
So do we have to ask the selectmen to release the money for 2 members to go? How does that work?
The seventh, the 17th is the third Thursday of the month, so.
Two?
Yeah,
You're gonna look
Well, I gotta verify those dates.
up to 2.
yeah.
I can't commit. If I commit now, I would be disingenuous.
We'll say up to 2, so if you can go, you can go.
Just let me know,
I shall.
'cause I have to register.
Thank you.
Okay, now your trail thing.
Trails?
Yeah,
That was coming up.
Should I come up, sit down up there, or should I stay up here?
But I like looking at you this way.
Oh, jeez. All
They
right.
can't see you're all dressed up, so usually.
That's true. Nobody knows who I am.
You know, we had to go out of town.
No, they know who you are.
I knew we were waiting for you for something.
Clean it off for you, there you go.
Got my Sunday go to meeting pants on, everything.
So you coming this week then?
What's this weekend?
You got this Sunday go to meeting pants on.
They're gonna be dirty by Sunday.
That's the pastor speaking. He's turning, he's
But thanks for
in,
the invite. I
he's in
appreciate it.
Anytime you want.
I think we all saw, we got an email from Conservation, Andy, voting about trails.
I got it from Bruce. He replied.
I thought I sent it to you.
you did, you sent them.
I never got, I got it from him before I got it from you, so, his reply.
We chatted about it.
Okay, whatever. So we wanna do anything?
Yes, we do.
Okay, what do we wanna do?
We're gonna have a joint meeting.
Good idea.
I think that was a request.
Yeah.
Just to meet the 3 of you.
I think,
Yes.
I think it ought to be a joint meeting here that we chair.
Well, if it's a joint meeting, we chair it.
I just wanna make clear of that.
It's clear in the RSA.
Okay.
And if it's a joint between the ZBA and the planning board chairs it. So. Conservation Commission, the only one who don't trump is the Board of
The
Selectmen.
selectmen?
Yeah,
yeah,
which I don't understand why, but that's all right.
Just making sure that's how it was gonna be.
Tonight you board of selectmen, according to my banner, I didn't change it.
So I gather from the emails that Parks and Recs doesn't have any money or time, is what I gathered from that reply from Lisa.
Did she reply just to you or?
I think she replied to, I don't remember.
I didn't see the.
I didn't see that.
I didn't see one from Lisa, but
A lot of people at Chase Park this year.
Yeah, that money goes in the general fund, they don't keep it.
they don't keep it.
No, they don't?
No.
Okay.
No, they just get a limited budget to pay for their help and the other small, so.
Any idea when that was?
Well, they met on the 14th, and I think he emailed you right after the
It's
14th.
like end of last week,
Would that have been Friday, the 16th?
somewhere on there.
Or Monday the 19th?
That was end of last week, I think.
Okay, there's Steve. Steve replied too, by the way.
When did you send that email?
Lisa said to Andy, no, only Andy, me, and Steve. Sounds like a great idea. I'm not sure how much help PARC would be, given how overstretched our volunteers are and how underfunded the commission is. If you have ideas, please feel free to attend a meeting or send something in writing that we could discuss.
You know, what are they, you know, the general question is, they're looking for some money to do this. They've got money in their own,
No, I think
Stuff.
I think they're getting some heat from residents about how come Town of Ware has no trails.
well, they have a mandate that they have 2 years to get trails, a comprehensive trail design, and that was done when? At the selectmen's meeting, that was part of signing for that last piece of property. And they're under the gun now, because it's been almost a year. You know,
Well, again,
we can bring it up when we go to them, but I think, you know, they have a town forester. I did some checking with other towns, they have their town forester lay out some of this stuff through there. And we're paying a town forester, and they're taking money from forest sales, timber sales. How come, you know, they haven't get their town forester to go out and do that?
That's why I put it in
That's right,
in the warrant this year, last year, that the town forester do that.
and they do it, and, you know, it seems to be dragging. And I think to get, you know, they also,
It's volunteers, just like you guys.
yeah, but I mean, if they have a town forester they're paying, they can turn around, they've got money in their timber fund that they use for stuff. They can, start to get some of it done,
Well, that's what you would vote on at town meeting.
yeah, so we
We
can
did,
vote on it
that-
at
that
town
was-
meeting.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they have, you know, they have other agencies, and I don't think it's always up to, and that's the
And
thing
they've
that
got,
frustrated me.
they've got organizations that have volunteered to help them build
Yeah.
trails.
They've had
There's
this,
no BS. This is a perfect place for a public-private partnership.
yeah, they've had the scouts to do stuff, but I mean, the other thing
Ware
is,
Winter Wanderers is a perfect example.
Oh, I
They've had
underst-
people to, like that, to want to work on trails.
and that's what I
with
was.
And they have, and there's other groups too, not
Yeah.
just the
But
WWW.
they have
I
to,
mean,
do-
there's-
they have to do, it's not, I don't think it's up to us, or the selectmen, or, you know, Parks and Rec, or somebody to nurture these,
For
it's up to them.
someone to go to conservation, say, here, we'd like to do this, how
Or
do we work with it?
conservation to go out, like any other business or anything else, or any other function, to go out and recruit these people, go out and try and ask them to help and volunteer for some of it.
So I'm not sure if they're looking maybe,
Well, the last email from Steve Nager to Andy, Lisa, and myself, we were hoping to have a joint meeting to discuss some potential options. Possibly create a warrant article to have Southern New Hampshire Planning develop an assessment. Seems like folks, selectmen and others, have been pushing CC to develop and manage trails. Most of our parcels don't go anywhere suitable for long trails, and we don't have resources to develop and manage trails. Ideally, the town would develop a plan for interconnected trails across ownerships and then request funding to build and manage. If the townspeople want a big trail system, it would need to be supported with paid oversight, have construction and maintenance funded on a recurring basis.
These are what DRED grants are for too, and I'm familiar with those through London Dairy. Those do require matches, but if people want trails, then
that's
and
what it
we need
takes.
money to make them and maintain them. There's grant money for it, and it just needs to take the people who wanna be involved to do it.
So, schedule a joint hearing, we'll hear them out, see what they got to say, see what they think.
Did they reach out to you to come to their meeting?
No, they said to have a joint meeting. I don't think it was it really?
I had to go and close it, didn't I?
I think we schedule a meeting, invite them
Yeah.
to it, say, here's our
Yeah.
joint meeting, this is how we're gonna do it.
I'm not directing anybody, you're all volunteers.
I know.
I don't mind going to them.
Well. Everybody else is great.
That's-
I think they reached out because of the mandate from a year ago.
Mhm.
Because they're down to 6 now, they had 7.
Yeah.
They had a resignation last week.
So do we need a motion to schedule a joint meeting with the
Conservation Commission concerning trails in Weare, New Hampshire.
Yes, Andy was asking if we would be open to
A joint meeting, so you could have the meeting, you know, you invite them here, like Bruce had mentioned.
You can do it on, it doesn't need to be a planning board meeting night, I don't care when we do it, just,
I motion to schedule a joint meeting with the,
what are them, no, meeting nights, they meet on Tuesdays
Second Wednesday,
or Wednesday?
we already booked something that night.
Oh, it's the 12th?
Yeah,
Well,
but don't we have,
Sidewalk.
don't we have the working session on the 13th, in theory?
What time is their meeting at?
So,
They meet on Wednesdays?
they meet the second Wednesday, yeah.
We could come here after our sidewalk.
I think they're looking for just a general feeling of what you guys are thinking, what they're thinking, it's nothing,
Formal.
it's nothing demanding or directive or anything like that, they're just trying to feel out what's going on.
I don't have a problem with a joint meeting, I don't want to force them to come to us, I don't really care which way we go, but I just,
And I'm not, like I said, it doesn't really
Doesn't
matter.
matter.
We can go to 12, they meet. They meet upstairs or here?
What time do they meet?
I
Seven.
think it's 7,
Yes,
On
the
the 12th?
sidewalk is at 5, so.
Yeah.
yeah, you'll have time. And where you, if you guys come in, their rule of thumb is it's always like appointments or guests, they take at the beginning of the agenda, so it's not like you guys sit around and wait till the end. Cause I can put you guys on, cause I do the agendas.
what are we talking about?
12th.
The 12th.
7
Payday.
o'clock?
It's payday, that's all I go to my calendar. That's cool. That's an important thing.
Did you get the 5 PM sidewalk on the 12th that we're doing? Oh, yes,
5
you
PM?
had that discussion, because there's no ice cream anymore.
I didn't put it in my
Yeah,
calendar though.
last day of the scoops for ice cream is the 2nd of October, so.
Ugh.
You gotta put that in my calendar, hang on.
That. Gotta mark the calendar for that one.
Yeah.
And if we just notify Craig, if we just let everybody know, we can let Lisa know, or, I mean, do you want me to let Mark know, what do you wanna do?
I was just gonna see, I was gonna email Andy, Steve, and Lisa and say, the planning board has a site walk on that night, and we'll come into your meeting after the site walk.
And there's plenty of time that, you know, she can transfer that to the,
Okay. I will email now. Anything else?
No, I think we covered it.
Good.
Sure.
you wanna let him know what, so the second one for Nikki. He's got months ahead of work with him, and he's gotta wait for it to get stable.
We told the abutters would re-notify them when we
Reservoir
started taking
Drive,
that up again.
It's gonna be,
Okay.
it's not,
Okay.
it'll happen when he's ready.
Because I don't think we accepted that application.
No, because it was too much. Unbelievable.
So we continued it again?
No,
We just
told
did
the
what?
abutters would re-notify them.
Yeah, because he's got a lot of the AOT and everything else ahead of him.
So the application's just dangling there? and we're
I don't
gonna
think we
re-notify?
accepted it.
We gotta do something.
We didn't accept it, what do we have to do?
We got to reject it.
Well, it hasn't been, I haven't seen one.
Been submitted.
Then we'll get Jack to withdraw it.
We gotta do something, we just can't let it dangle.
Okay.
We have to hear it within the next number of days in the middle, so.
We'll get Jock to withdraw it. That'd be the clean way to do it.
Yes, it would be a very clean way of doing it.
That's what he did at ZBA.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, no, we don't want him to withdraw, we want that application open. We want him to ask for continuance. If he withdraws the application, there's no form signed saying town people can go on land anymore.
You put it on hold.
Yeah,
Table it?
You can table it and offer to re-notify, which is what he kinda did. 'Cause we had to,
He can, how about if, instead of withdrawing, ask for it to be tabled?
he asked for continuance to a date uncertain, and then we'll figure it out later
The
on.
abutters were happy.
They'll get re-notified anyway.
Right.
Either way.
As long as you don't know to continue to a date certain, they get
Right.
re-notified.
Right.
Is there a motion or anything that's needed for this action to table an application?
No, we'll talk to the engineer.
Sure. I can do that. Did you ever get a new plan? Oh, is that mine?
It's ours.
It's ours, okay.
you just wanna sit there and let you motion that.
Unless what?
You wanna sit there on that?
No,
There's one motion left.
okay.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Are you still a voting member since I'm sitting here?
I am.
Actually,
No?
No, yeah, actually not.
One of you
are
I
not.
think you were for Craig.
So you can't make a motion.
I thought Bill made the motion.
You can make
I
a
thought
motion.
Pastor Bill made the motion.
I move we adjourn.
I'll second it.
Okay, then.
All in favor?
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, abstained. Hey, I got something done.
like